Good morning, everybody, or good evening, depending on where you're at. This is the weekly update for the Connect 2020 ministry plan here in Tokyo for the Olympics. And I want to give you some updates on what's going on. So, this last week we've seen a lot of interest, I feel like new interest or newly articulated interest for working with us here in Japan amongst the local believers and local religious organizations as far as the Christians here are concerned. And people are learning about Connect 2020. They're learning about the Echo Project and some of these things. And yeah, people are starting to get interested in realizing, okay, there's something that's actually going on, and people, the local churches don't necessarily have to produce something, but they can join in on something, which is actually a lot more healthy for them many times. So we're really excited about that. We're thankful that God's giving us rapport with these different people, these different groups. So keep praying for that. I'll share some prayer requests here in a little bit that kind of follow up on that. But yeah, so we're gaining interest locally. We're also working on gaining interest locally. And what I mean by that is we're preparing to do some things to basically get the word out to Japanese believers here and prepare them for training and prepare them for blocking off their schedules for the summer and all those things that they're going to have to do in order to be able to serve with us this next year. But I'll get back to that in just a minute. Something else that is exceptionally exciting is when you have a vision or you work on a project and it finally becomes tangible. So I have a great announcement. We have all of our Olympics pins done. So this is all of them together. That's a little reflective, but we've got 5 pins and then our bridge pin. So many of you have already seen the bridge pin. Try making that too reflective there. Many of you have seen the bridge pin. Kind of old news, but this is sort of our core gospel sharing pin. You can actually story through the whole gospel. And again, with this live stream stuff, everything turns backwards. So imagine everything flipped as far as the order and stuff. So it's gold, black, red, blue, green. Story through the gospel that way. And then we have those same colors here. So you have the gold pin, which is the love pin. They're not all standing up straight here, but the love pin's got summertime festival theme to it and the word love. We have the hope pin, which is a nighttime skyline of Tokyo with Tokyo Tower on there. I know it's a little out of focus. You can see these images elsewhere in better quality, but just for the sake of explaining, here they are. This is the grace pin. So the grace pin has the word grace on it, and sakura blossoms, which is cherry blossoms. And then you have the faith pin. It has Fuji on it. It's got the sun on it. You can see some Japanese motifs there. And then the last pin is the community pin. And again, sorry for the blurriness, but that is a bunch of bamboo and community bamboo. You could probably make the connections there, but we're just super excited to have these finally done, and all we have to do now is order more whenever we need them. We don't have to be producing them or going back and forth with the manufacturer. They're done, and that's a huge relief. And so I always like to brag on Tara and Jared Jones for all the work that they did on that, so huge thanks to them. Shout out to them, and give them a high five if you see them and tell them that they did an awesome job. And then moving on to the next thing, we have the Lottie Moon Challenge. So for those of you who aren't Southern Baptists or haven't been in a Southern Baptist church that has taken time to really focus on the Lottie Moon offering, Lottie Moon was a IMB missionary way back when, and one of the things that she was known for was garnering church support. And so she wrote back to her home churches and worked really hard at telling, hey, we need to be supporting missionaries. This is not enough. We need to do this together. And so every Christmas we do, as Southern Baptists, we do a special Christmas time offering named after her, and 100% of that offering goes to the International Mission Board, which, as many of you know, that's the group that I come from, and that goes to help pay for our salaries, pay for projects, pay for these pins, all that kind of stuff. And so we actually have a special a special Lottie Moon focus project called the Lottie Moon Challenge. And so the Lottie Moon Challenge is a designated project particularly for the Connect 2020 plan, and our fundraising goal for that is $355,000. We're currently at just under $66,000, and we're continuing to raise that support. Now that the normal time for Lottie Moon stuff is over, we're starting to re-up on how much we're promoting the Lottie Moon Challenge. So if you or someone you know would like to give towards the work that we're doing with the Lottie Moon, or with Connect 2020, the Lottie Moon Challenge is the way to go. And so if you do donations and you are into or you want to get the tax break and all that fun stuff, the Lottie Moon Challenge is the avenue to do that, and you'll have the forms and everything you need to do the tax break thing. But the Lottie Moon Challenge is going to be really critical for us to be able to do things, because those pins are not cheap, and that's just a piece of the puzzle. But excuse me. So yeah, that's a really tangible way. If you can't come and serve with us, you can pray, and you can give, and you can send people. So that's a way to do it, one of many different ways. But we can't do it without cooperation of those supporting us. So thank you in advance if you give. Thank you to those who have given and are giving regularly. That's a huge gift that I don't take lightly. We're going to steward that money and those resources as the best as we can. And those pins are the primary gospel sharing tool that we're going to be using. So thank you for giving. Thank you for praying about it even. And yeah, it's going to make a big impact. So, prayer points. A lot of stuff has happened over the last week. As you may recall, if you watched the last live stream, I talked about we had some really great housing opportunities and really great things that are coming down the pike with hotels and things like that. And you may have also picked up that I said, well, in Japan, nothing is set in stone until it's fully set in stone. I always tell people, set in stone, smash it on the ground, and then rewritten in another piece of stone. That's just kind of how it goes. It's very bureaucratic here. There's also elements of racism that happen and different things that just complicate things. And so because of that, that's made the hopefulness and the work towards getting those hotel rooms a lot more challenging than we expected. So if you'll continue to pray for our housing situation for our teams, we're still working hard at trying to get those things. A huge shout out to the Hamiltons for working so hard, doing things that I am not capable to do right now. One, because I only have so much physical time and space to be able to do things, but two, they know Japanese in and out, spiritually, physically, mentally, language-wise, personality-wise, everything. And so they're really good at navigating that stuff, and it wouldn't be happening near as well as it is right now without them being involved. And that's just one of the many things that they bring to the table. And so hugely thankful for them, but continue to pray for them, pray for us as we work through this with all of our partners and trying to land some good locations. Pray that we can get all of our housing together in the same general area for all of our teams, so it just reduces the logistical stress, and and it's just nice to have everyone kind of in the same area. Be praying that we can get it at the budget that we need it at, and be praying that we can get it soon so we can just be done with it and not be stressing about that anymore. Another thing you can be praying for is the trainings that we're working on right now. So we have our very first training happening on March 9th, and this one will be 100% in Japanese. And so you can imagine that is a challenge for Tara and I and others of us where that's not our heart language. And so we need to depend on our local brothers and sisters for help, and our partners for help, and there's a lot of work to be done. So this March 9th training will be an all-day training at Tokyo Baptist Church, and that training will also be one that we spend a little bit more production value on, because we want to film it and then be able to upload it to YouTube and use that for trainings in the future. That will require less infrastructure to make those trainings happen. So be praying for us, be praying for the people who are leading that. We have 2 local pastors here in the Tokyo area who have committed to helping us with that, and then Tokyo Baptist Church is also going to contribute a pastor to help us with that. And we have to have all of our stuff done by February 21st, which gives them 2 weeks to sort through things, and that date is fastly approaching. So we got a lot to do with that, but be praying for that. And then successive trainings after that. Not too long after that, we're working on having an English training, and so same content, same approach, same emphasis of production value and stuff like that, so we can prepare that for our teams, that are English-speaking teams coming from all over the world. And then beyond that, just that these trainings would be a huge opportunity for Japanese believers to grow in their understanding of evangelism and winsomeness and sharing the gospel. And we hope that more people come to the training than are actually going to be working with us at the Connect 2020 projects next summer, because we can invite tons of people to come and do this training, and they don't have to go and work with us next summer. If they get trained, that's a good thing, and we want to celebrate that, and that's just a huge opportunity. So but for those who are going to be serving with us this next summer, it's going to be a requirement for them. So it is what it is, but we're really excited just to have the idea and possibility that people will come get evangelism training, and they're just coming to do it to better themselves, to be better disciples, and that's what we're doing this for to begin with. So that would just be a bonus for us. But be praying for the following trainings after that. We're going to have a training at Hongodai Church in basically southwest Tokyo, pretty much Yokohama. And then we're in talks with another church in the northwest part of Tokyo region to do a training there, and those will be in Japanese, and then we're also working through the English ones. Be praying for our venues. As you know, we have Tokyo Baptist Church as one of our venues that's locked in for the Echo Project, which is our coffee house stage space. So we're working through that now, figuring out how that's going to work out. We're still waiting to see our secondary location develop. That's in the core part of Tokyo, in the Harajuku area. We're waiting for that to develop. Right now things are put on pause, just some challenges that had happened to that whole group that we're working with that, as far as some things happen with someone's brother died, and we gotta give them space. We need to be taking care of them and loving on them and giving them the respect that they need to, and have the space that they need to do those things. So be praying for those families that are processing through that and working through that, because that's hard. That's a hard thing to deal with. So we need to get in the space, and once they're ready, we'll be able to continue those talks. But where we left it, we're pretty much at a 70 to 90% confidence that we'll get that space, which is awesome. And then we're looking at a third location in partnership with the Redeemer City to City Church planning crew that's here in Tokyo. We're at the beginning talks with that, looking at a couple of candidate locations and some things like that, but they want to look for a space that they can convert into a long-term ministry space. So we want to work with them and it'd be a mutually beneficial partnership in this way, because the space that they want to create is going to be like an open ministry space, so we could go use that space at any point we wanted to, and it would just be a really cool situation and a beautiful partnership in that way. So be praying for us as we have a meeting with them this week and look through the possibilities. Another thing to be praying about right now is the Wuhan virus. I'm not going to try and pronounce the official name of it because it's challenging, but we all know Wuhan and the big virus that's spreading all over the world right now. And that's one way, a tactic of Satan that can be used to really gum things up. If things get really bad, which I don't know if it is or not, we always, this stuff hits the news and it gets, shot around and there are, little sensational moments of news, but there's also truth to that news too. So, if worse comes to worse, then it could put an interesting twist on how things happen this summer. But be praying that it doesn't, and be praying for those people who are actually being affected by it. Be praying for the people that are stuck in Wuhan right now. It's actually shut down. People can't leave. People can't go anywhere with it because they have to contain it. And that means we have U.S. citizens there. There's the Japanese are working on trying to extract their nationals out of that city, and it's interesting. Who knows? It could be another month, and this will just be a memory. But be praying for those people, and be praying that the ministry that we have and that we're working on isn't affected by that. Please be praying for Tara and I, as we have a lot of presentation things that we're working on right now. We're going to be doing sort of a powwow for our Tokyo team as far as getting everyone caught up to speed, and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Where do you fit into these pieces here? We're all expected to be helping out with that this year. This is the main project for the Tokyo team for this year, all the way till the last day of December 2020. So trying to get everyone on the same page, getting them in a clear understanding so that they can answer questions, they can find where there's a need, and they can fill it. And then along with that, we pretty much need to do the same presentation for local Japanese churches. So I met with a local pastor here this week, and it was awesome. I was personally very, 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 very encouraged by this brother. And they're like, we want to do this. What do we need to do? And so I'm like, well. So he invited me to go to his church. He invited us to go to their church this upcoming Sunday and do a presentation to the deacons. And if that goes well and they're good with that, we'll show up the following Sunday and do a presentation to the membership. And he's also working on trying to give me a platform at a associational meeting that's happening later this month that will have the region's pastors there. And that's like hitting the main streak of what we're trying to do, is partnerships, engaging local pastors, finding those new relationships, and honestly just serving these brothers, serving them and trying to find ways to work together to supercharge what they're doing, encourage what they're doing, be their biggest cheerleaders. And so we're very excited about that, but it's all got to be in Japanese, and we haven't done that yet in Japanese, and so I got about a week to figure that out. So please be praying for us in that. We're working hard. There's a lot to be done, and honestly, I'm tired. Tara's tired. We're hitting kind of a tired week right now. A lot of good things going on, a lot of challenges, but we're tired. I could go for a nap already, and it's only 9:19 in the morning. So, anyways, it's been about 20 minutes. I should probably wrap up, but we're going to be announcing to TBC on February 9th, not March 9th, but February 9th, what TBC is doing with Connect 2020 and how members can be involved. And TBC is over 55% Japanese. So we have a good chunk of Japanese volunteers that will be a part of it, and a good chunk of international based, but everyone will be considered local Japanese church. So we're excited about that. And TBC is just, I probably said this last video, TBC is just blessed with a lot of resources, and one of those resources is just a diversity of people. with a diversity of skills and professions and platforms, and it's really exciting. We're excited to see how they play into things this year. But yeah, be praying for us as we have to present that 5 times that weekend. So TBC has 5 services, and there's a Saturday night, 2 Sunday morning, and 2 Sunday afternoon. And so we're going to be putting a video together with some of the pastors, and then we're also going to get up on stage and talk about it. We're also going to put a handout in the Sunday handout, a little flyer in the Sunday handout, and we got to work on that. We got to produce these things, and it's a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it. We're very, very excited for the potential. So thank you for joining us this morning as we kind of update you on what's going on with Connect 2020. Please be praying for us. Again, be praying for the housing situation, the trainings, our Tokyo team, the venues, the Wuhan virus situation, the presentation to Japanese churches and locals, and announcing the whole thing to TBC. We love you guys, and we thank you so much for being involved in this, praying for us, giving, all those things. And we look forward to interacting with you more. Talk to you soon.